Hello kids, how are you today? Welcome to this new science class. Today we are going to continue working with unit number 4, people and animals. But today we are going to learn what living things can do. So before starting our lesson, we are going to make a short review from the previous class and then we will continue with this lesson. Are you ready to work? Let's go! Last week, we talked about living things and non-living things. And we mentioned that living things need three important elements to stay alive. Do you remember them? I cannot listen to you. Excellent. Very good. Living things need water, air, and food. Those are the three important elements they need to stay alive. Living things like animals, plants, and people need that. On the other hand, non-living things, all the examples that we can see here, they don't need that. Is that difference clear? I hope so. If it is not clear, remember that you can always check your book. Let's continue with this class. Now, we are going to open our books on pages 48 and 49. On these pages, we can see our friends in a farm and we can see different animals. But there are some important elements that we have to observe first before analyzing this picture. First, we have to go to our word bank because here we can find some words, some vocabulary that can help you during this lesson. The words are adult, scared, moved by themselves, and respond to changes. After that, we need to analyze this picture and then we have to answer these questions. But let's do it together this time. Here we can see the baby and we can see the mother. So we are talking about living things. Here we can see also the chicken and we can see the chicks too. So we can say that living things have babies, they have young, and that's an important characteristic. The rest of the characteristics or the rest of the things living things can do, we are going to study after this. But first, you need to answer these questions. And I have one more extra question. Do you think that this little baby or these little chicks will grow up the same way as their mothers, as their family? Think about it and discuss with your parents. If you have some extra time, you can do this too, science at home, where you have to take some photographs of yourself as a baby, as a little bit older, and you have to compare these pictures with you now. Are you still the same? You can do it, okay? Now, let's go to pages 50 and 51. We are going to focus on this question. What can people and animals do? The first thing we have to keep in our minds is that people and animals are living things. So, if they are living things, they need food, water, and air. But these living things can do different activities, and we already know one. They can have young, they can have babies, okay? That's one. Here we can see the rhino with the little baby there. And we can see the family with the little baby boy here too. But also these babies or these living things change as they grow. And you could see that with the pictures of yourself. When you were a baby and you compare as you are now, we change as we grow up. So there we have two important characteristics. Then we can say that living things can move by themselves. That's why you can see the cat or your dog running in your backyard. They respond to changes. If you are observing a bird that is, I don't know, drinking water, and you get closer to that bird will fly away because they respond to different changes. The living things also die, and we can see that with our families, maybe. Yeah, here we can see this example that Sue missed her grandma. So here we have different characteristics. We have 5 different characteristics. Living things can have young. Living things change as they grow. Living things can move by themselves. Living things respond to changes. And finally, living things die. And what happens with the not living things? Well, non-living things cannot do any of these activities because they are not alive. So they cannot move by themselves, they cannot have young, they cannot grow and change, and they cannot die. Is it clear? Very good, kids. Let's continue. Here we are going to see more examples of the 5 important activities living things can do. First, living things grow and change. Here we can see the cycle of a butterfly. Then, living things respond to changes. What do you think it will happen? The cat is observing the bird there. What do you think will happen? That is, respond to changes. Living things die. Here we can see all these whales here at the shore of the beach. Living things have young. We can see the dog with the little puppies there going for a walk. And finally, living things move. We can see this cheetah running in the jungle. Can you think of some other examples? Okay, kids, now it's time to practice. You know all the necessary information, so now we have to do these activities. First, we are going to work with our activity book on pages 28 and 29. We have to do 2 activities. First, we have to match these pictures with the corresponding ideas. And then we have to check the correct alternative. What will happen next? Very easy activities to do. Okay? Let's do it. So now, for finishing this unit, we are going to work with pages 52 and 53. Here, we are going to have a summary of all the information we studied. We have living things that they need air, food, and they need water. Living things can grow up and change. Living things can have young. They respond to changes and they die. That is the summary of this unit. Here we have some vocabulary for you to study, and finally we have to do this self-check activity. Remember that we have to complete these ideas using the words that we have in the box. I'm sorry for this, but I couldn't find any other picture, okay? So we have living things, alive, die, respond, grow, and young. Remember to use these words only once. Additionally, You have to do the "this is what I learned" activity that you will find in the document Getting Ready for Work. And now it's time to say goodbye, kids. We did all unit number 4 about people and animals. I hope you enjoyed it and see you next week. Bye bye. Take care.